from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Alert.
Alrighty, and good afternoon at this point. I guess it's not yet evening. Good afternoon. I am Forecaster John Bordash with you in the JB Weather Center this afternoon to give you an update on what it is we are tracking here and what our forecast looks like over the short term, really honing in over the next 6 hours. Before we get too underway, though, let me know if you can hear me or not, because there is no point in doing an update if people can't hear me. But if we can assume that you can hear me, this is a current look at live William Richmond Inc. HD radar. And I do see people say that they can hear me. Lovely. This is a current look on how things are right now on the radar. It's no surprise to say and no shock to say that we have seen a decent bit of rain across the region today. If we can take us on over, I want to get some things put here together, and I should have done this right before coming live. My apologies. I want to bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. I'm going to take that off, and I want to take us on over to estimated rainfall totals that we have seen thus far. Let's say over the last 12 hours. Let me kind of move some stuff around here. Voila. Let's take you on over to voila. As we wait for this puppy to load on up, here we go. Look at rainfall totals thus far. We've seen a decent bit. We have seen, as radar estimates, about half an inch of rain or so through southern parts of our region. We've seen closer to an inch. Those blues start to suggest over half an inch of rain has fallen across parts of Charles County, on up towards PG, parts of Anne Arundel County. These yellows would indicate upwards of 1 inch or so of rain. So this is a general look at radar estimated rainfall totals as things stand right now. I take you on over to where we stand with wind gusts right now. Let me bring those on up to kind of calibrate where we stand at the moment. Current reported wind gusts are there in white. So we currently have wind gusts upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour down across our Bayside locations. Pax River clocks in with about 38 miles per hour, sitting at around 43 miles per hour on over towards Clinton, 43 mile per hour gusts on over towards DC. If we take you on over to the forecast we put together this morning, this, I think, very much still holds true. Right now, my forecast this morning was estimating winds of around 42 gusts upwards of 42 miles per hour, and we're seeing a 43 miles per hour right now, so I think that's pretty dead on. Our winds will begin to increase as we move through the evening, though. That is what I'm going to be honing in on. Yes, the worst of this hasn't really hit just yet. It's been some gusty not gusty showers, but gusty periods of rain. Those wind gusts do start to increase as we head throughout the afternoon and definitely this evening. Wind gusts potentially getting up towards about 60 miles per hour or so. I would definitely expect impacts as we head through the evening. We've had a couple of comments about this already, and I do want to show that to you about our current power outage numbers. Let me bring you on over. We're trying to navigate several different screens here to bring you on over here. And this is a look at current outage data coming in from SMECO, updated at 3:51, so not too long ago. Right now, across the SMECO coverage zone, we're looking at about 1,400 customers without power. That does not necessarily mean 1,400 people without power, right? We know that a customer could be a household of 4 people or a business that houses 15 people during a workday. So we could be talking, upwards of 4,000 or 5,000 people without power right now. And some of the highest concentration of that is in the Mechanicsville area right now in northern parts of St. Mary's County. And really our highest outage by county is in St. Mary's County, where we sit with over 1,300, almost 1,400 customers affected right now. Let's bring it back on over to our graphics. Let's go ahead and take you through. This was Futurecast from this morning, our Cedar Point Federal Credit Union Futurecast. The estimated rainfall totals it was coming up with. And again, pushing those totals, including what's already fallen, upwards of about an inch or two. and that significant flood risk does indeed remain in place through the evening. Highest risk of flooding is going to be along our urban corridor. That is where we have several flood warnings in effect. Parts of Montgomery County, D.C., down towards Fairfax County, Howard County. And we're going to see that, I think, continue to expand south and east as some of the heavier rain start to move on in. One of the new developments we got throughout the day was that our high wind warning was expanded. I'll repeat that. High wind warning expanded to include Charles, PG counties, parts of the D.C. metro area on over towards Fredericksburg. This goes until 1 a.m. this morning. Peak wind gusts upwards of 55 to 60 miles per hour are going to be possible, especially for our immediate bayside locations. We're thinking areas such as Piney Point, down towards Ridge, on over towards Pax River, Solomon's, Drum Point, Calvert Beach, on up towards North Beach, getting on over towards Shadyside and Annapolis, and then back along our Potomac River waterways of Leonardtown, Cobb Island, Swan Point, Nanjemoyne, on over towards Indian Head. All these locations are likely to see some of the highest wind gusts. And again, we're going to see the winds start to increase this evening. That's when we start to get that strong southerly flow. And with the intensifying system, that's why that high wind warning was indeed expanded. Coastal flooding also remains a concern. Coastal flood warnings remain in effect for the entire region, and this is going to be with us through the day on Thursday. 2 to 4 foot water rise is going to be possible. This is a look at this morning's hydrograph gauge estimation for Solomon's Island. We can see that peak surge of upwards of 4.6 feet, so total water rise of 4.6 feet is possible on over towards Solomon's Island this overnight tonight. The current record sits at 4.8, so we are looking at potentially record-setting values on over towards Solomon's Island. The same is true down towards St. George Island. The National Weather Service is forecasting total tidal rise sitting at 4.9 feet. That would set a new record or match that current record. And flood state sits at about 3 feet. So we are going to be looking at potentially major flooding concerns for our areas like Solomon's, North Beach, down towards St. George Island as we head through tonight. If we're going to be thinking of impacts that are going to be lingering, right? We're going to be looking at increasing power outage numbers throughout the region. I think we're going to be talking about issues for area roads. I'll bring this back up for those that are just now joining. Good afternoon. I'm Forecaster John Bordash here with you in the JB Weather Center this afternoon to give you that latest update on what we're talking about with our weather alert day. Local impact timing here in southern Maryland. We've seen steady rain, we've seen the increasing winds, but it really is going to be, I think, the heart of our impacts, the height of this storm is going to be moving in here over the next 6 hours. Between now and about 10 o'clock is when I'll be watching for some of the heaviest rain, for some of the gustiest winds. Wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour are going to be possible this evening. That's going to be leading to scattered outages. We've already begun to see that. Close to 1,500 customers in the SMECO coverage area are currently without power, and I would expect that number to rise. I would definitely expect roadway delays as you're heading out for the evening commute. Expect low visibilities, expect potential road closures, especially for coastal locations with that coastal flooding threat. Let me take you on over to Futurecast. Let's kind of time things out for you. As we push things to 4 o'clock where we sit now, our Cedar Point Federal Credit Union Futurecast does show widespread periods of moderate and steady rains. As we put this back into motion here, we can see that that rain continues, and if anything worsens as we approach 7 and 8 o'clock. I want you to take a look on out towards Warrenton. Actually, what I want to do is bring you on over to the interactive version of Futurecast to really spell this out here clearly for you. Let me bring this on over here. Let's get you on over. These were our wind gusts from earlier that we were talking about. We take a look at let's push this on over towards 7. Do we see out here towards Warrenton, out towards northern parts of Virginia, where we are looking at a potential line of storms trying to develop? And maybe red wasn't the best color to use on this sort of a map. But we see how Futurecast wants to develop what could be a little bit of a squall line. That line is what would house some of our strongest wind gusts. Futurecast starts to paint this on over towards southern Maryland, parts of the Mid-Atlantic writ large as we approach 8 o'clock. So let's go ahead and kind of time this out here for you. let me get a better color other than red to help you kind of see this. Here would be that, I would think with all the clicking I'm doing, that would have started. There we go. There would be that potential line. That would be a potential squall line of storms. Not necessarily like a summertime convective thunderstorm, but this could potentially be where we have some of our heaviest rain, some localized downpours, and the potential for the gustiest winds. Again, we could see wind gusts in this little thing, gust upwards of 60 miles per hour as it moves here to the east. So I would be expecting this to start to impact our region between 8 p.m. and probably about 10 p.m. And I hope you're able to see that decently. Our program here likes to do a wave effect with the text that I write. My apologies. And I do see people asking about my goldfish. The JB Weather goldfish are indeed intact. One of my little goldfish are kind of come through. And I think that just speaks to, I'm expecting a long night here in the Weather Center this evening. As we push this forward here towards 9 o'clock, we see our Futurecast moves that line very quickly through, and that is where we see some of our highest wind gusts. If I take you on over to Futurecast winds here, take you back on over towards 7. Futurecast is estimating winds potentially gusting upwards towards 50 to 60 miles per hour across the region. Some of the highest wind gusts are going to be out here towards our coastal locations, areas that are directly adjacent to the bay. Where you start to get some of that hints of gray and white represents potential wind gusts upward 60 miles per hour. And we see that really start to take off here. The eastern shore will likely be the most impacted here as we push this through. Wind gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour are likely. And once we get that little line to push through, winds calm down a little bit, but they do still stick with us throughout the evening hours. So this is a general overview. Right now, I don't want to call the lull before the storm because we are looking at high impacts out there, but I do think that the worst of our weather is set to impact the region here over the next 4 to 6 hours, really between now and about 8 o'clock now and about 10 o'clock p.m. when we start to see some of the worst weather push through. You're going to want to stay tuned to JB Weather for the latest information. I've survived a full day of teaching 130 13-year-olds. And I'm here with you throughout the evening. So stay tuned. Any new weather alerts come through, I'll be here with you live. And we'll try to aim to do these updates every hour or about every hour and a half to keep you ahead of the storm and to keep you updated with what's going on out there. You can always access my content at jbweather.net as well as on Facebook. Facebook.com/JBWeatherLLC, on Twitter at JB_weather, and on Instagram at JBWeather for the latest information. Thank you for joining me right now. Keep it tuned right here to JB Weather for the latest information. And yeah, we'll lock in and life will continue to go